All right, Wednesday, May 21st is the Lion Channel. I'm John. Day 20 of my manifesting journey, and hour 48 of my 72-hour fast. It has been somewhat challenging today. I woke up this morning and I noticed my energy level was a little lower than it normally is, especially walking up steps. Okay, sometimes it feels like I'm climbing a mountain when I'm walking up steps, and I guess maybe I should have been a little bit more strategic in terms of planning my 72-hour fast, because it coincided with leg day. So I had legs today. I had to push through that. So that was fun. And but here's something that came from it so far, is that I applied a technique that I had talked about once or twice in these videos, which was asking questions. So when you're falling asleep in the wish fulfilled and applying the law of assumption, you're visualizing something that you want, and you're visualizing yourself as that person that has all of these things. So during the day, I hope you should be also imagining yourself and assuming that you already are that person and finding that feeling. So for me, that person has $30 million in their bank account and a $10 million house. And so when I walk around during the day, I walk around as long as I can remember. Okay, sometimes it gets away from me, but I'm still I'm still bringing it back, and I'm still applying it as much as I can. Is that I'm already assuming and walking around like I am that person, like I have $30 million in the bank. Okay, so today when I was doing the fast, and I was probably around like the 40-hour mark. All right, so like 8 hours ago, and the fact that my wife is cooking dinner in a crock pot is probably not making this any easier on me, because the house just smells like deliciousness all day. But these thoughts started coming in, persuasive thoughts, trying to get me to eat. Okay, thoughts like, John, what are you trying to prove? You've already done 40 hours. So what? What's the big deal if you do 72 hours? John, you're already in pretty good shape. John, Mindy, my wife, has already said that you don't need to lose any more weight. Like, what are you doing? And so my mind was coming in with these thoughts, and I could feel it coming, but I did what I talked about yesterday. I was just, ignoring it, as part of old, frequency, and that's not who I am anymore, and just kind of like one after the other, just kind of like pushing them away. But they kept coming, and so I was like, all right, this isn't working. I didn't really do this. It just came to me. And the technique, I remembered, ask yourself questions that David talks about, Elmer Locker Jr. in his videos. How would the person that has all these things, how would the person that you're falling asleep as, how would they react or respond to this situation? What thoughts would they be thinking? Would they make a video, or would they even make that kind of decision, even if they were by themselves, and decide that they're going to do a 72-hour fast, then get 40 hours into it and say, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm not doing it? Or would that person follow through because that's what they said they were going to do? And so once I asked myself that question, would this person follow through? Those thoughts are now non-existent. They're done. Because what can they come in and say after that? The person that I am is the person who is non-negotiable, who says that they're going to do something and they do it. So I didn't realize, I've realized that this technique is, can definitely change some things, but I didn't realize how powerful it was until I applied it today. So, and I haven't talked about it that much here. I think I mentioned it in passing like a couple of times, but I just experienced the true power of that technique, which is just ask yourself the question. And I'm going to start asking myself these questions all day. Anytime I'm in some kind of situation where it feels like, old thoughts are trying to take me out of something that I said I was going to do, or something that I know I need to do, I'm just going to ask myself that question and make it habit. Okay, old thought, would the person that has all the things that I want, what would he do in this situation? And then it's just going to be like, okay, you can be quiet now. I'm good. So that's just something I wanted to talk about and mention, because I feel like that could really help, especially during the day in your waking hours. And that could really help with anything, even if you're not at the point where you're trying to follow through on something, and just having thoughts, where I was just worried about finances and that kind of stuff. If you're still there, or just worried about anything, would the person that you want to become, would they be worried about this stuff? And that might be able to, depending on where you are, might be able to put them to rest, at least for the time being. All right, so that's it. I just wanted to mention one more thing. Teresa, you commented and said that yesterday you ate at 3:00. You were coming along for the 72-hour fast ride, but I just want to say, don't sweat it. First of all, this is a simulation. All right, so hopefully you're not reacting too strongly, negatively towards, or being too hard on yourself for not, following through this time. As I said, I do this. I do 20-hour. I do intermittent fasting almost every single day. All right, so I'm really familiar with this kind of thing, and I've done a couple of 72-hour fasts already in the past. All right, so I'm really, this is my wheelhouse, so to speak. And I've been a personal trainer, and I've recommended and suggested, intermittent fasting to almost all of my clients. And I have had plenty of clients when they first started fasting. I'm not sure how familiar you are with fasting, but when they first started fasting, I had a bunch of people just come to me and say they couldn't do it because they were going through sugar withdrawal, and it was giving headaches or caffeine withdrawal or whatever. All right, so if it's really that important to you, I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Okay, but what I would suggest is just, if it's that important to you, fall asleep as a person who has already completed a bunch of 72-hour fasts, and do that for a couple nights, and then wake up and then try it again. And I'm confident that you'll definitely get further, and then eventually be able to complete a 72-hour fast. And that goes for anybody who wants to do it. But So that's it for today. Another shorter video. Okay, videos are getting shorter. That is my goal. With these, I want to keep them shorter because I know attention spans are and sometimes I can ramble a little bit. My wife reminds me here and there. So see, I'm doing it again. All right. I love you all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.